Good morning, race fans, and welcome to beautiful Dawsonville, Georgia. We are here ready to go for the second round of racing in the AMP Championship Series. I'm going to be your host today, Will Rigdon, alongside Stephen Newbold here in the booth. And Steve, we've got an exciting day of racing up ahead of us right now. We've got two Downforce races. We have a 13-car grid. And if last month was any indication of how this month is going to go, I am excited here for some racing today.
Last month was crazy. A lot of off-grid passes, almost a pass in the grass. A couple of interesting incidences happening in Turn 6. It seemed like everybody was claimed up by Turn 6 last month.
We had that big strafe in Turn 1 that was reminiscence of the Sandman from last season.
Lord, that was an experience to see.
But real quick, as we are waiting to get this grid underway, we are going to go ahead and ask everybody to please rise. And we're going to kick it trackside down to track reporter Chris Conowall is going to take it away with our prayer.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us pray. Divine Creator, bless our motorsports endeavors with safety, skill, and fair competition. Guide the hands and minds of drivers, mechanics, and officials to work in harmony for the love of the sport. May the thrill of speed be met with wisdom, and may each race be a testament to human ingenuity and teamwork. Protect all involved on and off the track, and may the spirit of sportsmanship prevail in every victory and defeat. Amen.
And now we please ask everybody to remove your hats and stand for the playing of our national anthem. And there you have it. Great shot from the top of our recovery vehicle. Tow Mater out there, down next to the new improvised Big Red. Won't talk about what happened to Big Red number 1, but let's just say he met his end at Turn 16.
Turn 16 is a tricky corner on the track. You know, you got to know what you're doing there.
Well, the crazy thing was he was out there on a recovery. The yellow flag was out. Yeah, that was a big oof. Not calling out Champ Car or anything, but those guys, that was a fun weekend. Anyways, we got the grid up here right now. As you're looking down the grid, we've got a fierce fleet of SR1s, SR3s, and a couple of our Downforce Unlimited cars. You saw that beautiful Praga R1 up front being driven by Jack Rambo. He is going to be your pole sitter today. We also have that beautiful SR10 out there going to be driven by Raiden Nickel. And it looks like our pace car is getting ready to go. Rachel Heiler. We put her in a slightly different car this time, gave it a little less power than last month. That was one of those fun, interesting.
Turn 6 claimed another one.
Yes, driving that EV conversion. She gave it a little too much gusto last month and gave it an extra revolution coming out of Turn 6.
You know, that just says that they do good work there.
Yes.
That's all it means. It's got enough torque to whip it around the track and accidentally whip it around Turn 6.
But right now, your grid is taken to the track. We've actually got Chris up here in the booth with us. I know normally Chris is down there doing interviews. We don't get to talk to him much. He's the one doing most of the talking. But welcome up to the booth, Chris.
Hey, it's a delight to be here, and wow, just excited just to be back on such a beautiful day. And looking forward to a great day with you guys.
Well, I wanted to, give you more of a proper introduction to our fans, to everybody watching from home. You kind of just joined us last season. We just threw you in the mix, didn't really say much. But, real quick, I know you have a law firm in town, and tell the folks at home what you do, Chris.
Yeah, well, local attorney, married to beautiful Dr. Teresa Conowall, principal at Kylo Elementary. We have 5 sons that we're raising here in Dawsonville. I announce football and basketball for Dawson County High School.
I knew your voice sounded familiar.
Yeah, they call me the voice of the Tigers, but today I'm just your support guy. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad to be here.
Well, one of my favorite memories of you, Chris, is one of the first time I met you actually was for our Amped Up event last season, and you had that great call when they were doing the SWAT takedown. I mean, it was reminiscent of the old LA live police chases, and every time I see that clip, it pops up on my newsfeed. It gives me a chuckle because of just how well timed and just the way you called that. I think it's one of the best highlights we had of all of last season.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm a child of action TV, so it was easy to do, but I appreciate the compliment. It was a lot of fun. Hey, are we gonna? Speaking of, are we gonna have another one of the events out here?
Yes, we got more news to come with that shortly, but that is definitely in the works. Amped Up Round 2 is going to be in the books. We're getting some final details together for that, but look for that towards the end of the summer, and it's going to be another fun one.
I mean, talk about just a unique experience. If you the sort of the premise behind that is if you ever wanted to come out and see what your car could do and even run from the law. I mean, that was fantastic. Cars went around the track and they got to take off and, hot pursuit. It was just amazing. AMP just really, ahead of the pack as far as doing great stuff out here in Dawsonville.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite memories was getting ready for that, and I was showing the police officers the line around the track, so they were chasing me, and I got to be one of the first people to get to run from the cops on track, and that is such a fun and unique experience when the lights are on and you don't have to stop.
Yeah, suddenly I'm hearing just a good old boy.
A reminiscence of Dawsonville of old.
And right now, your Downforce cars are on track, getting those tires heated up. They've already completed their first of 2 pace laps. So right now, we are on the second pace lap, and you should see those lights should be off on the pace car, which means they are going to be coming in next time by. So right now, looking at your scoring tower, Chris Hune is going to be your leader. He's going to be your inside pole. Jack Rambo, I believe, is on the outside pole, though. It looks like Jack Rambo's in front right now, so he might have had the pole position. We'll have to wait and see the scoring tower update as they take the green flag. But your running order right now, as it's listed, Chris Hune in the SR3, Jack Rambo on row number 1, Pete Folger, Dave Mason on row number 2, Greg Folger, Blake Fabiani on row 3, Callahan Warlick, William Layton on row 4, William Robinson and Raiden Nickel on row 5, and Jose Alvarez and Evan Lowry on row 6. And then rounding out row 7, Hank Pate. So that is going to be your 13 cars that take the grid today for Downforce race number 1. A lot of good names up there on the board.
Now, before we get started today, let's just throw out Blake Fabiani real fast. This man last season struggled left and right in the Spec Miata series. First race of the year, massive mechanical malfunction, lost his engine and transmission in 1 lap. Had to come back in, rebuilt the entire car in the pits down here, and was out before the second heat race. And won.
And I'll also add, he won the race, and he also ended up taking the championship series as well.
Yes.
So perseverance definitely paid off. He's going to be one to watch here today. He decided to hang it up on the Miata and picked up at SR1 Radical during the offseason. So he's going to be a mainstay here this season for Downforce. And right now, Rachel Heiler is leaving the track in the pace car. So Jack Rambo will lead the field to green as they make their way through turn 16. Let's watch as they get on the gas.
Man, I love the roar of those engines.
There we go. Green, green, green. 4 wide at the start as they go barreling into turn 1.
I'm pretty sure that was Raiden Nickel coming in 4 wide, starting from the rear.
Yeah, he definitely got the jump on that race start. Look at that. He is already passing half the field. Look at that, up to 4th place already. Something tells me he did not turn a qualifying time, and that's why he was in the back. But he's in that Radical SR10, so definitely has the punch and the gusto to get around the field quick. But let's see if he's going to be able to catch back up to Jack Rambo. Jack in that faster Praga R1 definitely got the jump on the grid. You can see he's already got a multiple car lead advantage as he leads everybody out of turn 6.
Speaking of Rambo before the race, he was talking that he was a little nervous to go up against Raiden. Raiden definitely has a lot of laps out at AMP on the main circuit and the kart circuit. But Will, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, considering they are basically in the same horsepower package, and I believe Raiden's already up to second, based from what we can see here. Looks like Rambo's still got a decent lead on the group, and it looks like we have a spin in turn 12. I cannot see what number that is, but they are stuck center track.
Yeah, maybe we can get our drone pilot to use that super zoom there to see who that is. I don't see them moving yet. They are stuck in the middle of the track right now, so if they don't get that back underway. All right, they're starting to move now. That is one of those newer cars. We actually have our SR3 guys, Greg Folger, Chris Hune, and David Mason are all driving in 1320 cc SR3s this week.
Okay,
So
that's a nice change.
Yeah, they all have 1500 cc R3s or SR3s, but they're getting ready to go race in the Radical Cup. So to keep the miles off
yes.
of those cars, they're all in SR3s. And two of these guys, these are their backup cars because they had the 1340 first, and then they purchased the newer SR3 XRs, which came with the 1500 cc engines. But that being said, these guys are all going to be evenly matched today, so this should be a fun one to watch.
Based off of timing and scoring, it looks like it's number 26, Pete Folger in the SR3, that's off track right there, which is not very good for him, considering he's been a big pusher throughout the first race of the season.
He was your season champion for SR1 last year, so not a way you want to start race number 1. And look at that, they're just going to keep the local yellow as the field makes their way around. They should be sitting that recovery truck on track to pick him up, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that as Big Red makes its way around.
Speaking of keeping an eye out, I'm keeping an eye out on Jack Rambo, Raiden Nickel. That is that one's heating up already. And you mentioned, Steven, the wrap on that car that Raiden Nickel. I mean, talk about a good-looking vehicle.
Yes.
And those Pragas are beautiful, too. Tell us more about that.
So speaking with Jack Rambo before the race, they were talking about their wraps and, strategy for today's race. And to be honest, he said he was a little scared of Raiden. He said that, there's Red Rescue coming on the track.
Yep, we did bring the pace car out. So there is Big Red 2.0 making his way around the track. I don't know if you noticed that logo on the side, but I made that, Steve. I'm proud of it.
Let's get a zoom in on that.
Yeah,
that's the logo. Oh, now we got the building in the way.
A great shot of the top of the sky deck.
Well, Will, is that the same one that you showed me a couple weeks ago that you said you were planning on doing something with?
Yeah, potentially. I've shown you a lot of things.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I got to see
Half
a couple
of which
behind
we can't say on air.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of behind-the-scenes things that happen at AMP.
And look at that great track out. The truck really staying online right now. Look at that. Nipping the turn in, almost hitting that apex, going way wide. Look at that. Barreling up the back hill, hammered down right now. That F-250 giving it everything it's got right now.
It's that forward power, buddy.
That's right.
What was the story on Red 1 you guys were talking about earlier?
So we had a racing incident during one of our endurance races up here, and they were recovering a car on the front straightaway on a full double yellow, and a Miata came into the back at a high rate of speed and put red number 1 sent red number 1 off to the grassy fields of Texas.
Okay, gotcha. Tyler, we got Tyler in the booth here. You want to pass over the mic, and we were talking about the different field
we got
out
room
there
for
today.
all 4 up here today. We got a headset here.
Guys, it's good to be here. It's a really tight race. We got a lot of our regulars in the SR3 1500s, and they're all, as you mentioned, they're driving in their backup 1340cc car, so this is pretty cool to see just how close the entire field is together. But yeah, so far, aside from Pete having a little bit of a moment, he should be fine. Just didn't want to get a beach, it looks like.
Yeah.
So no harm, no foul.
And that's a shame. He's already going to be 2 laps down once they get this started back up.
Pete, I have to tell you, last week was the Masters, and being in the rough is not good, even in Atlanta Motorsports Park.
Now, I've got to ask you, Tyler, did Raiden go out during qualifying? Because he started in the back, and I know he's in an SR10. Was that by design?
He did go out in qualifying, and I believe he received a penalty. I'm not exactly sure what the penalty was for.
Probably for speeding.
You can get a speeding citation on a racetrack?
Too fast.
Yeah, I can't say exactly what it was for, so I don't want to say anything if I'm not exactly sure. But yes, he did start in the back. But with the SR10, he's got twice as much power as all the other radicals.
He was up to P2 by turn 6.
Right.
I mean,
so it wasn't a surprise to see him where he's at now. We'll just see if see how he can get around Jack.
They said, "Sir, please slow down. We want everybody to come back next month."
Now, can you compare the Praga out front and the SR10 in terms of horsepower and whatnot?
Yeah, so the Praga is going to be a faster car by just a short amount with a capable driver, but the SR10 is about on pace with that Praga. The SR10 is a little bit cheaper in price, so you're going to receive basically a space frame chassis. That Praga is a carbon tub, so that's obviously going to be more expensive. But for their power and what they both deliver, they're pretty much on equal pace. Same tires as well.
So we did get one green lap in, and on that lap, Jack Rambo turned the fastest time of a 119.048. Now, Raiden, cutting through traffic, ran a 120.
Right.
So I would expect to see his times get well within the teens there. So it'll be interesting to see when they go green, because he'll be side by side with Rambo and see who's going to stick it in turn 1.
If you have equal drivers in the Praga and the SR10, they're pretty close on lap time.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm watching that one intently here today.
So if I've done my research correctly, I understand that the Praga can reach speeds of about 135 to 140 in the straights. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. The SR10 at full pace here is actually a little bit faster. So it's going to hit around 140, 145 even is what that's capable of getting up to. But that's really pushing that thing at full tilt through 16.
Well, that SR10 with the wrap, boy, that is an attractive,
beautiful
car.
Who did that wrap?
That was Ryan Nickel. He took some time and he got somebody to help design it, and then he put it all together.
Oh, that's awesome.
He wasn't happy with how hard it was. He said it was probably the most annoying wrap he's done, because it's pretty intricate with all the different colors. But
and
yeah,
here we go.
Green.
Yeah, pace car off track, and looks like Jack Rambo will lead the field single file to the green flag, and we are back underway.
Tyler, it's really I feel really fortunate every time you walk in that door, because I've got a lot of catching up to do in terms of knowledge around here. So thanks for,
of course,
having all the answers.
Well, I wouldn't say all the answers, but I try and help as much as I can.
Well, more than me and Steve. That's why we love having you up here in the booth. Now, if we're talking Toyota Corollas, me and Steve might be knowledgeable, but with these radicals,
we keep bringing this up, Will, and I keep kind of putting it off. But today needs to be the day.
Hey, autocross
post race show. It's just going to be me and Will on track, banging doors and bumpers.
Well, we don't have a Miata race today, so that might take up the time slot.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
So, Tyler, speaking of, educate me one more time. SR1, SR3, difference in terms of CCs.
Sure. So with the SR3, you have two motor options, a 1340cc and a 1500cc option. In today's race, Greg Folger, Chris Hune, David Mason, all of those guys are running 1340cc race engines. The SR1 is also 1340cc. However, it's slightly detuned by 20 horsepower.
And
the SR1 is 300 pounds lighter.
And here's a great example, actually,
drag
in front of us on screen right now, because you can see Pete Folger's 1340 SR3 currently chasing down some
Pete
1340.
is the exception. Pete has a 15.
Oh, he does have a 15.
Yes,
oh.
yes.
So that was it's probably good for everybody else that he's spun and is in the back right now.
And as sort of anticipated at this end of the table, Raiden Nickel out in first. Look at that, 118. But
yeah, the second he got some clean track, he
that
shaved.
SR10.
No competition.
I wonder if he's holding back a little bit, or if he's just going to send it.
Well, he did get the track record last month in Spec Miata. Who knows? He might be.
Oh, we got
a
big incident going on in the carousel.
Looks like we got we got 4 cars together. Oh no, that's the R1 of Jack Rambo, and that looks like the 26. We'll have to see. Hopefully, we got that on the up high drone camera.
Looks like I can't tell who's in that. Is that Folger?
Folger, it says on the door there, Pete.
I'm not sure what happened and why why Jack was back that far. He was in second. It seemed like he was doing fine up in the front of the field, so I don't really know how all this got tangled up with the SR1s.
Yeah, I don't want to make assumptions, but knowing that turn, typically they'll spin outward, and I'm assuming an accordion behind, so somebody might have been, a little too hard on cold tires. But yeah, there is debris there.
We got another car off in turn 6, it looks like, as well, from our vantage point here in the booth.
Ooh, we're going to have a lot of cleanup on this one. Not too much per se, but it's just a lot of cars that we got to scoop up.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the safety car back out. That front.
Okay, here's a good replay. Let's see what happened here.
Oh, and that was.
So Rambo was just sort of sitting. He had spun.
Yeah.
Rambo spun and he
kind of
didn't
just
really
caught
see it
everybody
until
up.
last
Sit and
second.
duck right there.
Well, unfortunately, where he spun, there is not a corner marshal, and he is just out of view out of the guy there at turn 5, because that happened right. Basically, if the water tower wasn't there, he probably would have seen it and pulled the flag out.
Well, with that, it's definitely challenging because you're driving up a pretty steep hill into turn 4, and if you're not looking up that hill far ahead, it's that happens quickly. So.
That was a nice little lick he got right there.
Right at the end, yeah.
But thankfully, he was able to slow down quick enough, and doesn't look like it's too bad, except maybe a busted headlight and a couple things going on with Folger's car.
Like
and Rambo's got some front end damage there.
Definitely got a little bit of damage on the front end of that one. And with most of that being carbon fiber, ooh.
Yeah, I think that may have been the first Praga I saw. You guys had the Stig out here. Remember that day?
Yes.
That's a big memory
and
for me out here.
And he, believe, broke our track record briefly because I think Raiden came back out. Somebody came back out and broke it again, but he got it down into the 114s, which was cool in that Praga R1. And I think Raiden was chasing it in the West, but I
believe
can't.
So.
I don't remember off the top of my head if he actually beat it or not, because I know he was out here hitting 116s.
Did he wear his white helmet when he did that? Do you remember?
He was just dressed up like normal. He wasn't dressed like the Stig, but he was
just here.
Well, he was in Praga gear.
He and I were speaking afterwards, and he's an attorney. He has
oh, cool.
Yeah, he has his law license, but he obviously doesn't practice. He's pretty much being a stunt guy for 007 or whatever else. But right here in Dawsonville, Georgia, I was just amazed. You guys, you bring the talent for sure.
Now
I imagine being an American lawyer talking with a British lawyer. We left them for a reason.
Sure.
Because we didn't like their laws. So I imagine you'll probably have a.
He asked me if he could come shadow me in court. I said, of course.
So you're going to teach him the proper American way of throwing tea in harbor and
only if he wears,
evading taxes?
Only if he wears the gear, and that way when it's time to intimidate the witness, he'll just stand there and do his thing.
Okay, that works.
It looks like Jack's out making his way around the track there.
Yeah, well, he's more than likely going to pull off here.
Man,
that scooped up about half the field, and I think by the time they get this, get everybody on trucks and out of here, yeah, they're bringing the grid in right now, so they're going to pause this race.
And we still have this driver down here.
They haven't thrown the red. Oh, yeah, there's still. Yeah, it's
there's
right
still
at the exit of turn 5 right there. At the
I think he was another driver that was involved that might have had a later mechanical further on in the field.
Yeah, he could have pulled. He could have pulled through and heard some clunk, clunk, clunk heading down the hill there and just rolled off.
Yeah, there's 4 cars that were involved in that incident.
Maybe I'll just go join Kaya and walk around and get some.
Yeah, we're gonna have some time. So yeah, definitely get her and let's get the camera and we talk to some of these guys. Yeah,
okay, we'll do.
See if we can get a front row view of everything that's been going on.
Yeah, everybody's getting out of cars right now.
With you being associated with so, like I was saying, with all the damage that looks like it's done mechanically, how long would that take to replace that to get them back on track if they even make it back out on track for this race?
I mean, it's just hard to say. You just never know until you start getting body work off. I mean, I think mechanically that car is probably close to being fine. Yeah,
so if a fairing or something, those are pretty easy
to. He's actually driving it around the track right now coming through turn 6, so he is moving with the car, but there might be an alignment issue. He hit it pretty square. Obviously, we could see the headlight was broken, the fender, so potentially the splitter might have a little damage. Thankfully, none of it's carbon, so it's going to be a –
Rambo's going to have a field day with that.
And you know what's wild is in the 3 years we've been doing this full coverage up here, this is the first real multi-car wreck we have actually had.
Yeah.
Minus
So-
somebody just going off track. This is an actual incident.
Yeah, we get a lot of off-track single car. Maybe two
Yes.
cars get into it in turn one, a little bumping and rubbing, but rarely do we see a 4-car pileup.
Yes.
So hey, hats off to you as an instructor. So because you're obviously teaching them something right, and
Appreciate that.
and the fact that this probably could have been worse than it was, seeing that he
Yes.
was in a blind spot in a pretty tricky part of the track. That if you try and panic brake, you're going to lose control.
Of course. So, thank you first off. That was kind of you say that. But, I mean, at the end of the day, this is racing, and these things can happen very quickly. We've had a great track record here of all of our racers running clean and staying out of trouble. But, again, especially in a point like that where Jack spun, he's sitting at the very top of a blind crest. So his guys are coming up over there. They're
Yeah, they
not
can't
always
even see.
they're not really expecting to see him there. And it looks like they all tried to avoid as best possible, and Pete just had nowhere to go.
Thankfully, he slowed down enough that wasn't.
Well, I almost wonder if it was one of those things where Jack didn't, he was trying to save it because he was still on track a little bit.
There's a good up-close shot of Jack Rambo getting out of the car. Glad he's doing okay. He might be a little sore depending on how hard that hit was.
I would be upset. I mean, just looking at the car and stuff, that would be such a pretty car to have that happen to.
Yeah, we'll see if Jack would like to talk to us. If you don't completely understand, but we're talking in the booth. We watched back the replay, and wow.
Out of the way. So much traffic anyway. There was really nowhere to go.
Yeah, just a minute, Jack. If it's all right, I'll have you talk to our viewers here. You want to go out in the sun a little bit? Okay. Jack Rambo, a mainstay around here at AMP, and talk to us about what happened there in the turn there.
I was just trying desperately to stay within sight of Raiden, and lost the rear end going through the carousel. I think that's the first time in 6 years that I've spun in the carousel. But anyway, once the car got pointed in the wrong direction, I was stuck there. I couldn't get back underway because of the traffic, and then the traffic kept coming at a pretty good clip, and then most of the guys seemed to see me, but there were one or two guys at the end that obviously didn't see me, and there aren't any flag stations up there where you can really see what's going on up in the carousel as you go through 2 and 3. So it was unfortunate. I was just sitting there and watched the car slide into me and another car slide into him after that. So,
well, I'm going to tell you, nobody's more disappointed than me. I was watching that battle between you and Raiden, but it happens, and we're going to look forward to hopefully seeing you back out there. I'm sure you haven't even had a chance to assess the damage. I'm sorry I pounced right on you there.
I haven't even looked at it yet. But it was, on Raiden's bad day, he's faster than I am, and I think he didn't have a fresh set of tires. But anyway, I got a little encouraged when he got around me on the restart initially, and he was putting it in the dirt a lot. So I thought there might be a hope that his tires would eventually go away on him, but I didn't get there.
Well, you're going to get there, and I'm glad you're okay. I'm going to send it back inside, and I'll let you take a look at this beautiful Praga. That's all right. We'll get it back together, I'm sure. Thanks again, Jack. All right, guys, I'm going to send it back in.
Yeah, see if you can. I don't know if I can see Pete Folger's car down there. If you can find him, if he's parked, maybe we can.
If we've got the,
see what happened to him.
Yeah, Pete's
there.
over here, I believe.
Yeah, I see the cherry picker going out on track, so I think we got a couple more minutes.
Yeah, I hate that for all the guys involved, and it's something we never want to see. It's something we rarely ever see, But again, at the end of the day, when we're racing, these things can happen, and sometimes you're an innocent bystander in other people's unfortunate areas. And
Well, I think the biggest disappointment is probably to the drivers, because when an incident like this happens, especially in a sprint race, time's rolling,
right.
And they're waiting on the crew who's obviously working as diligently as they can, but that does eat into their track time for the day, and so I know they're eager, waiting to get back out on track just as quickly as our guys are to get it cleared and get them back out there.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Pete, but We've got driver of the 88 car. You guys help me with
88 would be
That is
Callahan.
Yeah, Callahan Warlick.
Yeah, Pete might have drove back to the garage.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Callahan was caught up in the
He was. I believe he got caught on the inside. I think he was one of the first cars that might have tried to avoid him and put into a spin. So.
And I see them pulling the grid off. So is that going to be it for race 1, Tyler? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I mean,
Because we just hit 20 minutes on the time for the event. So I
yeah, it
see
looks
them
like they're pulling off.
driving back around. Maybe they're just going to do a. I would be a shame for them to end it this way. I would think they would at least do a green-white checker for us once they get the track cleared up.
that would
But I can only passive-aggressively talk to race control so much through the broadcast. They could kind of hear me through the speakers up there in race control. You know, typically when the broadcast was up there in race control, I'd take the headset off and say, hey, yo, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Let's see if Callahan has a word for us. Hey, how are you? Callahan, right? I'm Chris. It's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. It's such a beautiful day out here, but yeah, it is a gorgeous day. And then, things happen even on gorgeous days, right?
Yes, sir, that's it. Yeah, no, it was we had a big cluster of cars together, some good, clean, hard racing. There was a car that had spun in the middle of 3-4, and I think a couple of people braked early enough, a couple of people didn't. So just, it happens. Haven't seen the video yet, but I don't think anybody did anything wrong.
Well, speaking of video, you're right up there. I don't know who you've got out watching you today, but were you caught up in the mix then?
Yeah, we were having fun. Yeah, it was good, clean, bumper to bumper. After the restart, everybody got a good jump on the restart. It was a great day, perfect conditions. Everybody had fun.
Well, I'm glad. You got a great big smile on your face, and I appreciate you talking to me. And looks like we're going to stop the race, so we'll get an update on what's going on. But that's Jack Rambo down there in the Praga. That was the original spin out there. And
Yes, sir. Yep. Everybody was pointed at him.
I'll let you take a look at your vehicle. It looks like you're fairly unscathed there, which is great.
Yeah, I sat on the curb for a little bit. I think the underside of the car might be a little worse for the wear, but we'll see once they get it up on Jack's.
Excellent. Thanks for talking to me. Good to meet you. All right, guys, I'm going to walk down and see who else we've got here.
You know, it's
There's
always
Craig
good
Folger.
to have a positive attitude. I mean, I would think regardless of how the day ends, if you get to go racing, it's a good day.
Yeah.
Callahan's gone through our racing schools, and he actually has an SR3 back home. He keeps it up at VIR. That's his home track. So he's been doing a lot of driving so far this year. He's been out in his SR3 he said 4 times already in 2024, and he came out just yesterday and wanted to do some practice with us, and he's just trying to get back in the field for things.
I see Chris over there. Looks like he's got Pete, Chris, David. Got our SR3 crowd right there. I think we're about to get a word with them real quick.
Absolutely. David Mason, our race winner last race when I was out. Today's such a beautiful day, and with some unfortunate events there. What can you tell us about how the race was going before that occurred?
Well, we were having fun. I can tell you that. I was anyway. It was a lot of fun. A couple caution flags kind of slows it up, bunches the group back up. So unfortunate for Pete and Jack, but it happens sometimes.
For sure. But from your perspective, where were you when the all the events transpired there?
I was right behind Jack, and I looked up in just the nick of time. So I was glad that my car, fortunately, doesn't have any damage, and I was able to skate by. But like David said, it's unfortunate for all involved, but that's part of racing.
Yeah, and we're going to get things going again. Tell me from your perspective, where were you when the spin out occurred and all the action up there?
Yeah, I was right behind Greg coming up the hill, and I looked up and Jack's car kind of blended into the track there, and it was David was coming up on the left, and I just swung out to the right, and then David got me after that. But we're having fun, as he said. It's good.
Awesome. Nothing but smiles, and that's great to see. It's a part of racing, of course, and we're going to be looking forward to you guys getting back out there on the track. Thanks for taking a moment to speak with me.
Yeah, we want to give Chris a big ni hao. Welcome back from China. He missed us last month, so happy to have him back out here racing with us.
Chris, they're saying you're back from China. Is that right? Well, welcome back. So glad to have you back. In a rental car, no less. Excellent.
Did I hear Chris say, glad they let you back? What's that? Sorry. We kid up here.
Yeah, we were just sitting here cutting up about something funny that probably shouldn't be said on the broadcast. But, man, I started laughing as soon as I thought about it.
And there's a great shot of our drone pilots right now, Jeffrey Farver, Daryl Cannon, taking in all the sights and sounds.
They finally realized
Yeah,
they're
you're on the
camera.
big screen, guys. Live to tens of viewers online right now.
Hi, Mom.
We've made it big. But those guys always bringing us that double drone action. Daryl Cannon flies the FPV, Jeff Farver with the Skycam. That's how we get all these beautiful shots out here. Actually, that's Jeff's drone right now. We're looking back on them. Thing's so easy, it flies itself. So
Speaking of incidences, let's talk a little bit about last weekend with
Yeah.
CKNA out on the kart
Oh,
track. Oh,
man,
my Lord, that was awesome.
Saturday was a flip fest. You thought
Man.
they put a ramp out there at turn 4.
We had, total of 8 or 9 incidences in turn 4, and that was the hot corner.
And I looked at timing and scoring too. Because the first time it happened, I was like, "Oh, we're under red flag," and she goes, "No, not necessarily." I was like,
What?
Like, yeah, 2 guys upside down, and she's like,
and there's 60 carts on grid right now.
she goes, "Well, it's CKNA. That's how we do it." But that was such a wild event, and for y'all listening at home, if you don't know what we're talking about, we had the big national level event. The Cup Karts North America, the Southeast Division, came in and had their big regional event with us, and 171 kart drivers back there. So 3 weeks in a row, we have broken the attendance record at kart track. So
29 races.
And that
both days.
Yeah, Saturday was an absolute marathon of racing. 29 straight races that we called. But still fun. It was worth it. It was
oh man.
You know, we were live from pretty much noon to 7.
And it was great with the interviews. Some of the guys I've never interviewed before. We brought out some brooms for some sweeps on Sunday.
The Sunday sweeps was great. We got to do that again.
Okay, all right. I'll remember that for next time.
We got the doubleheader coming up, Cinco de Drinko weekend, so that'll be fun on May 4th and May 5th.
Please drink responsibly.
Yes.
That's all we say from here at AMP. Please drink responsibly.
Well,
Don't do it on the track.
There's a great shot of the Sky Bridge there, and then the backside of that Jumbotron. When did those come in? Because that was a nice surprise for me.
The Jumbotron back at Kart Track got put up about a month ago. We've had 2 events now with that, and this is actually our first event with the Jumbotron up here at the main track. So Jeremy Porter, our fearless CEO, picked those up last year, and we were able to finally get them installed this month, and awesome to have. I can actually see it right out my window, so it's kind of cool looking at the stream up on the big screen. And I'm sure for everybody up on the balcony and watching trackside, it's nice to have, when we're throwing replays up there and calling action on track rather than just taking our word for it. They can look up there and see it, see it firsthand.
And it seems like exciting things just are coming each time I come out, and there's those beautiful condos that have been constructed.
And I also want to give a huge shout-out to future father Kyle Durant here. He's just stepped in the booth. He was a big hand in making those Jumbotrons happen. He was online with customer support, ringing necks, making sure we got everything we needed, and got those things hooked up and running for race day. But Kyle, about to have a kid, so we're going to be missing him here shortly. But he is in here today giving us support, and always happy to have him as we are walking down the grid right now. Still haven't gotten word from race control. I'm assuming this one's over. They're just going to be content to park it unless they're – the cherry pickers moved.
Well, does that mean Will and Steve Fun Hour?
That might be what time we're in right now.
Well, while we look at the karts going on and at the kart track, we got a little bit of stuff going on. Seems like everybody's out there waving.
They actually are about to have a real fun event back there. They've got the endurance karting event going on today.
Okay.
And so they're actually getting ready to do a Le Mans start back there. I think they're in the middle of doing all their practice and qualifying sessions.
Oh, so they're going to do full Le Mans?
At 12:30, they'll be lining them up and doing a full Le Mans start.
Man, all right. So all else fails, we go back there?
Yeah, potentially. If there's not enough cars left up here, we'll just cover them.
Looks like they brought their own karts out.
Yes, they do. That's part of the series. They travel around with their own. I believe it's Endurance Karting is the organization, and they travel around. They bring a truck full of carts. And they set up at local tracks and run endurance racing.
That's
Endurance
awesome.
racing. One of the biggest things with rental cart endurance racing is making sure all the carts are even.
Yeah,
And
that's the hard part.
That's part of how this group has kind of built their reputation is they just do endurance carts. So, after a race, all carts come across. They're all mechanically fit, paired, timing. Everything is as dead even as you can get it. And, not to knock the endurance racing we do, but these guys, that's all they do. And so these carts are set up, tip-top, ready to go every single race. And they're always drawing big grids, big crowds.
Is turn 4 going to take the scooter guy?
Let's
turn
see.
4.
He's
He's
on
going to
the
sweep
outside.
it wide.
He
He's
could
going
have gone a little narrower on that apex, but
he's slowing it down. Let's see what else happens.
He's getting some arrow.
Not sure which drone pilot's following, but great coverage, guys, as always.
Out for a Sunday drive. I see a crew shirt there, so that's got to be one of the endurance karting guys.
And we need to invest in some of those.
And you can see a great shot of all our carts. And we run endurance racing as well. We've actually got a 6-hour enduro coming up next week, and now's the time to be doing them because that fleet of Sodi carts, as you can see, is brand spanking new right now. So if you want a fun, exciting endurance race, check us out online. 6-hour endurance race coming up next week at Atlanta Motorsports Park. That is us hosting it. This week is Endurance Karting hosting their event, and then next week will be our 6-hour rental karting event.
Will, for the next Enduro, I think we need me, you, Mikey, our producer, maybe a couple others.
Yeah, we need to do a broadcast.
We have broadcast endurance race. We get strap cameras inside the carts.
I want live audio.
I don't think we need that. You're going to hear me say every word under the sun.
You're going to learn a lot of French while I'm out there driving.
A couple German words are going to be thrown out there, and I might get a little aggravated.
Tell me about the endurance race. How does that you said a 6-hour endurance race.
Yes.
So for the green guy in the booth here, how does that work exactly?
Basically, teams of 3 to 5 drivers, and you come in. There's a mandatory amount of pit stops and driver changes you have to do. But basically, you come in, you hop out of your cart, next guy hops in, and they head back out, and whichever team can turn the most laps in 6 hours will be your winner.
Exciting. So you say you've got your endurance race coming up soon. You got your schedule?
Yes, we've got that next week. But real quick, while we've got our sponsors up on the screen, I want to give a quick shout-out to all the guys that help make this broadcast happen, that support us, support the track, support racing here at Atlanta Motorsports Park, and not in any particular order here, but we've got Body Symmetry, Cartoons, Carol Daniel Construction, Civil Logistics, Discovery Parts, Dusterhoff Racing, Epic, Ferrari of Atlanta, Folger Gas, who you've seen them out there racing the Folgers, Georgia's Own Credit Union, John Meagle Ford and Chevrolet, Motor Cars of Atlanta, North Cobb Electrical, On-Site Shine, Primal Racing, who are the ones supplying all the rental cars here today and the general support for our Downforce series, the Carlin Group, VinWiki, and VRD, which is the Velocity Racing Development Program. Those are the guys you see out there competing in USF 2000, Formula 4, Indy Lights. They're the ones trying to create the next American F1 championship.
It's going to happen.
And also our friends over at Liberty Racing Review.
Thanks, Will.
Who you happen to work for, Steve.
Yep, that would be me. All of your
write all our race reports, give the roundup, giving the drivers the coverage that they deserve. They're the ones out here putting the show on, so we're always happy to have the coverage. Also, we forgot to mention AlumaCube Engineering. Jeffrey Farver, that's his company, so if you ever need a drone pilot, give him a buzz. Killboy.com, he's our FPV pilot, so if you need a faster drone pilot, give him a call. He's got that FPV drone. Also got a lot of other gear, too. Daryl Cannon located up there at Tail of the Dragon. So if you ever gone on a bike ride up in the mountains, Tennessee, and you see those signs on the side of the road, or you see those photographers out there taking pictures while you're on the Tail of the Dragon, that is his website, his company. He is the only guy allowed to take photos out there. So see somebody out there and it's not Killboy.com, well, A, let Daryl know, and then B, don't buy their photos.
Will, what do we got going on in the racing world this week? There's NASCAR, we know.
Yeah, we got a lot going on there. Well, actually, big news in NASCAR. Hometown boy Chase Elliott bringing it home last week.
Sound the siren.
I almost thought there was a tornado when I was driving home from the racetrack, and I was like, oh, man, Chase must have won.
I turned it on as soon as I got in, and the best part was seeing Denny Hamlin hit the wall backwards.
That's
and
never a bad
for those of you that don't know, Steve, myself, I'm not a big Denny Hamlin fan, and I make everybody know it, even though that I'm heavily involved in motorsports. I make my opinion known of Denny Hamlin. Great guy overall, just I don't like his driving.
So Denny or Logano, which one would you cheer harder for?
Just because my sister, Shelby, if you're watching, this is for you, Joey Logano. She's been in love with that guy since she was like 4 or 5 years old.
No, I was talking about who you're going to cheer harder for when they hit the wall.
When they definitely Hamlin. I'm gonna be rooting for Hamlin the entire time.
Nah, we're big Chase Elliott fans here. Hometown boy, Dawsonville. Just quit shaking your head. I mentioned this is Steve's last broadcast in the box.
Let me tell you about it, guys. This is when Will and Steve Fun Hour starts. We start talking about NASCAR racing, on a road course at a country club.
Well, we do have a couple of those Hendrick Time Attack cars here on site.
Yes, they are beautiful. The Aero Group has those. They are what project is it with Hendrick Motorsports? They purchased those from Hendrick Motorsports, 2 years ago?
Yeah, and they were doing that build for the 24 Hours of Le Mans. The project, was it Project X, Project 99?
Or Project Garage 54 or something like that?
Something like that,
I don't know. They ran the 24 car at Le Mans, and Screaming Eagles going down the front stretch in France was beautiful. They haven't heard anything like that since World War II.
I just love that picture of all the Le Mans cars. You just
and then you just see this massive behemoth of NASCAR engineering sitting there.
But might catch a peek. I don't know if they're in the garage right now. They might be back at their condo. But typically that Aero Group garage is where they hang out. Hopefully that drone is not wandering too far into the...
I could see its reflection. Hi, drone. Wave to us. I'll take that as a wave.
I think that is, I believe that's Daryl Cannon actually piloting that right now, because I am looking at drone pilot Jeffrey Farver up here in the booth with us right now.
Oh, he's got Baja Blast.
Ooh.
I did not know that was down here.
the preferred drink of drone pilots. Getting ready to Baja Blast off.
Oh.
What a beautiful shot. I was walking around the pool area earlier, and wow, Will, tell us about
just look
that
at
expanse. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, look. I mean, the trees have finally come into color. Last couple of races have been nothing but brown and empty trees. Now that we got all the color back in, spring is finally here, and we're looking down at the pool and
what an oasis,
putting green area.
See, I love that putting green. That's one thing I wasn't expecting at a racetrack.
And the pool is heated, too, so we can flip that hot tub on and then start feeding that into the pool. So as it gets later in the season.
In the summer, we can have poolside broadcasts. Look, they've already got 3 little chairs set up there.
I know.
It's perfect.
If you guys don't run your Camry race, you guys can have a putt off, and I'll officiate that there.
Okay, all right. I'm terrible at putting, so.
How's your racing?
Way better than golfing.
The drag. I'll tell you guys, we had the drag race out here, and I went right up against the Tesla first run, and I didn't learn until after the race that my car weighs 500 pounds more than the Tesla does, and I got smoked pretty good, but same horsepower, same everything.
Pretty good race though, because you're in you got a new EV Mustang, right?
EV Mustang GT, yeah, with horsepower, everything is the numbers are better, but the only number that gets you in those drags are the weight.
So just out of curiosity, owning one of those, when you go to a parking lot and a regular gas powered Mustang drives by, do they give you the thumbs up? Do they wave at you, or do they give you the side eye?
It's a half probably.
I've had mixed reviews. I've had some folks say wow, and others are saying that's not a Mustang. So for the ones that say that's not a Mustang, I invite them in. And then we do 0 to 60 in a little over 3 seconds, and they're one right over.
My first question would be like, how did you get those extra doors on there? It's 4 doors.
Yeah,
What's
4
this?
doors. The entire roof is glass. But the best part is when you do Atlanta traffic and it's completely hands free, and you sit there and eat your egg McMuffin, and it just drives you down. I went to an event at the State Bar of Georgia. And first time in my life, I just it was almost like riding Marta in style. I mean, I didn't have to drive at all, so it was nice.
That's pretty cool.
And look at those beautiful, freshly painted lines down there in the parking lot. I don't know why I love that's so aesthetically pleasing when you see that, because the paddocks at a racetrack, they get covered in skid marks pretty quickly, and it's just the nature of the beast. And when those lines are nice and fresh, as you can also tell, the lines on track, the curbing, a lot of work being done. The engineering team doing a fantastic job keeping this place looking beautiful.
Will, I want a condo. I want a condo bad.
Yeah, let's go in together, guys.
Okay, so we all pitch in our salary from broadcasting.
There you go.
I'll clearly cover it.
Oh yeah, definitely. No struggle there.
Hey, I'll head up the negotiations for you fellas.
We got our attorney right here.
Absolutely.
We need to make this happen.
You guys are definitely worth it, because it's always a delight to hear you guys broadcast, especially just all of the animation when these guys get in the turns. So learn a lot from you guys. I think they should give you a condo for sure.
And you could watch it, firsthand from the balcony of your condo, as you can see some folks out there.
Let's start at what, 300,000?
Roughly, yeah, for a single unit. And every unit, the nice thing with these condos is every unit has a track-facing balcony. So the units in the back actually go up 3 stories. They're a little bit taller, so you can build them out. Most people have them at 2, but you can build them out. They're high enough that you could have 3 short ceiling, levels, or you could have 2 normal, high ceiling levels.
Mm-hmm.
But that balcony on the top floor for the back-facing units is how they're able to actually still see the track.
Hey, speaking of the Mustang, there she is.
Oh.
You can tell by the racing stripes there. It's right by the pool. But you guys also have, for those listening out there who are who drive EVs, this one shows right up. They've got 4 charging stations over there, I recently.
And they're actually double chargers, so we actually have 10 total level 3 fast chargers.
There she is right there, lower left corner. That is the overruled. So I have the Hummer H2 drone pilot. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not, but the Hummer H2 that gets a whopping 11.5 miles per gallon, it says I object.
And that beautiful black Toyota Tundra, 1974 edition, or 1794 edition.
Oh, if you pan over a little bit further.
Illegally parked in the handicap spot.
Wow.
If you pan that further over to the left, there is a beautiful.
Definitely not my truck.
2023 Toyota Corolla Nightshade Edition.
I'll help you with the ticket. I'll help you out.
Yeah, I
probate
happen
court.
to know a guy.
There you go.
I know a guy.
Hey, I am
looks
a
like
guy.
we're gonna get a
beautiful.
close-in shot of. Looks like some
gosh,
people have
that's
been watching.
Beautiful.
I don't know if we want to go in much further unless.
Knock on their door.
Hello, how you doing?
Oh,
hey,
look, he's watching the stream too.
Hey, we're on TV.
Look at the pup.
We made it.
Wow, those are beautiful.
See that's a beautiful shot of inside a.
Zoom in on that spread. I see some hummus. What is that?
Well,
Grapes.
Yeah.
I don't know who this is, but I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need you
right now. Oh.
Which
really dimmish. Oh, we got some muffins, popcorn. Oh, that's what? Zoom in on the condo number so everybody knows where to go hang out.
Is this the model, I wonder, or is this someone's?
Oh, this is great.
So as your attorney, I'm going to suggest that we get out of there quickly.
I am making sure the homeowner doesn't just come out butt naked. Hey, what are you guys doing over
Talk
here?
about a night. Oh, okay. We
cool.
did get the members' permission for that.
Okay,
good.
All right. Thank
good.
goodness.
But that would make some great quality content.
I was
on YouTube.
running. I was literally going to run with a waiver right now.
So that's Dave Gordon's condo. That was one of the first condos to get finished up here.
Oh, that's right.
So big shout out to Dave. Thank you for letting us invade your privacy a little bit.
So can we get a tour of the bathroom too?
Bring that cheese platter up here.
Yeah.
Over here to the booth.
We're big guys over here. We need a little bit of
smacking
food.
Speaking
of
too.
food, looks like we got a food truck down there at the corner of the building. What we got?
Yes, Smokehouse Q, and that is actually our truck down there. So we got a mobile food kitchen to be able to position up here at the main track and back at the kart track during events.
I may have to get Kaya to go with me and take the camera down there and hook myself up with a barbecue sandwich.
We should go give them a shout out while we're waiting.
Kaya, if you can hear me, come on down. We're gonna go out and check out things down at that food truck.
While you're over there, I need a brisket, some I'm gonna get flack for this, but some the mustard barbecue sauce mixed with the fire one that they have. It's all good, man.
And
It's
Smokehouse
so
Q-
good.
Smokehouse Q is the official barbecue provider of Atlanta Motorsports Park. So we are currently getting the kitchen area back at the kart track converted over.
Oh, I can't wait for that to finish. That's been a ongoing project for a couple years now.
So we'll tell any updates from race officials about what our viewers can expect in terms of racing action.
So it looks like 12:48. Travis.
Race control just happened to walk into the booth here and give us a little bit of info.
Oh, did we?
So it looks like we're getting word.
Yeah, so they called race 1 as it stood right there. So we'll have to get word from. Yeah, sorry, boss is texting me right now. Just wanted to make sure we got permission from Dave before we flew in there.
Hi, Jeremy. Thank you for letting me be a part of this broadcast for the past 2 years.
Please don't fire us.
We love you. I hope he's watching that at home and going, "Oh, guys."
But yeah, great advertisement for those condos. If you guys are really thinking about getting in, living trackside here at Atlanta Motorsports Park, I can't imagine a better way to wake up in the morning than just.
Speaking of working at AMP, I'm pretty sure you guys are hiring right now. If this tells you anything, a testament of Jeremy Porter and his team. I used to be an employee here back years ago when I was working at Karting and the operations side of things. I came back. So if that tells you anything how my experience was working here, you make so many connections in the motorsports world just working here. That's a massive benefit in itself. I mean, you meeting some of the coolest people in motorsports. I mean, I've met, not motorsports, but like Ryan Howard came out here one day. Angus Young from AC/DC was out here.
I remember when he came and visited.
The Stig.
Yeah, we met the Stig.
The dude in blue.
Yeah, that dude in blue. David Peterson's his name. God, you put me on the spot right now. All the people.
There's been so many people that have come out here that are just very, very, very famous, and it's amazing some of the people you get to meet.
Rutledge Wood came out here.
Yes. Didn't the Zach Brown band come out here one time?
Yeah, he's been out here. Zach Brown's been out here. Kurt Busch was out here.
I remember that.
That was fun.
That was probably one of my. I could tell y'all that story. Well, should I tell them that story, Will? Will, should I somewhat hint at that story of Kurt Busch being out here?
I think we're good. I see Chris is heading out the door right there. We're going to go see if we can grab Raiden.
Yeah,
Nickel
we're going to
quick.
see if Raiden will step inside and talk to us here a little bit.
For those watching at home right now, we are waiting to get underway with race number 2. Race control just stepped in here. 12:45. If you can hear me trackside, 12:45 is going to be the start for race number 2. So we are on a 25-minute break right now. But we have got the man himself, Raiden Nickel, coming up in the booth with us here. Raiden setting that blistering fast time last month in the Spec Miata new overall track record, or not overall, the new Spec Miata track record. And Raiden, welcome to the booth.
Yeah, man, it's great to be here.
You gonna try and go for it in the SR10 today?
Yeah, trying to.
Yeah, I had prepared my question for you. We had talked about this before. It's nice to know the heads up. So I'm just going to prepare you now. So when I ask, you've won a lot of races out here, and each experience is a great one, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But driving that SR10, starting at the back of the pack, and I was watching you and Jack Rambo very, very carefully, and he mentioned, I'm not sure, I don't think you saw it, but he said when he spun out is when he was, he was trying to catch up after you had made that pass. So talk to us about the SR10 and that experience.
Yeah, it's a much different animal than the Miata that I drove last month. You know, it's got 3-4 times the horsepower, weighs 1,000 pounds less, bigger tires, downforce obviously, much lower center of gravity. So it's a completely different animal for sure. Especially with the turbo, the torque is crazy and it rockets you out of a corner. And so it's a lot faster.
You mentioned 3 or 4 times faster. Driving those speeds. I mean, you've come up here. Tell the viewers a little bit about how your journey began here. You started in karts, and now you find yourself 16 years old. Is that right, or did you turn 17 yet?
I'm still 16. Yes.
16 years old, you find yourself driving the fastest car out on the track right there with the Praga. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And so tell us about the journey. You started out what age and now?
Yeah, so started out when I was about 5. Got my first go-kart. Ran around our little neighborhood in Texas when we still lived there. I actually got into drift karts for a second. Then we headed up to our local track, North Texas Karters. And yeah, was hooked ever since. So we moved to Georgia. We actually we moved based off where the track was. So we were about 30 minutes away from the track. So that's where we lived for a while before we moved to another house. So yeah, just climbed up the ranks of karting, went to nationals, did pretty well, set a couple track records at AMP, and then 12 years old, started testing in cars. Then eventually we settled on spec Miata for the close racing, the affordability, and just overall learning the fundamentals of car racing. And so now I find myself here a few years later racing radicals.
Well, I feel like almost that if you could go back in time and meet the creator of Coca-Cola, I feel like I'm getting to know you at a time when your career is really taking off. And it just so happens we were talking about the Stig being here from
from Top Gear UK.
Yeah, from Top Gear UK. And for a minute, he had set the track record, and then you came back and beat his time.
I believe you came. Was
No,
it the
was
West?
the opposite.
Or was it the other way? Yeah, I know you had said it in the West.
No, we set it in the SR10 at first. I did a 15.3, 15.4-ish. Ben Collins came here, did about a week of testing, hopped in one of the Pragas, went about a 10th faster than me. 10th faster.
But that guy, I mean, he's been racing. I mean, he's in his 40s, I think, maybe early 50s, and just been an international superstar. And here you are, 16 years old, and a difference of a 10th of a second.
10th of a second, yeah. And then early last year, came back with the West. I think we did 13, so much faster, much faster.
Wow. So today, tell us, conditions. It's beautiful. The clouds have moved off, and I think, Will, we've got a restart time now. Is that official?
So I was mistaken. It's not 12:45. It is 12:40. So 15 minutes until grid release.
All right.
15 minutes. If you can hear me trackside, 12:40 will be grid release for race number 2.
So you be thinking about that, because I'm counting on asking you that question.
All right.
You've won a lot of races out here. How is this one special and different from those? And thanks for stepping in the booth.
Yeah, man,
we'll
it
let
was
you
great
get back
having
out there. Raiden Nickel, everybody.
Thank you for
I've actually got one quick question for
All right.
you. Have you taken your driver's license test yet?
Yes, I have. Had it for 6 months.
How did that go? Did you have to lay off a little bit? Like how?
It was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. A lot more straightforward. We actually didn't go on the road for some reason. But so yeah, we just did parallel parking, reversing into a parking
That was
spot.
my question. You stole my thunder. Can a race car driver parallel park better than the average driver?
Funny, my mom and I, when we practiced around like a little village area, and we did every version of parallel parking except the one they did on the test.
Oh no!
And they made us come in at a really bad angle, and I failed it. I still passed my test though.
So you did not receive a perfect score.
Nope.
All right. Well, you're nearly perfect out here, and I'm sorry, you are perfect out here. You were nearly perfect there. We're looking forward to your next race. Thanks again. I see some merch going around too. Some Raiden Nickel shirts.
We're trying to get it out there.
So
Their website, yeah. Where
I'll
can we
buy one.
pick it up?
Like I said, I'm gonna get that signed by you right here at 16, and I'm sure your attorney will be in touch with my law office to say, you're not going to be able to sell that, right? Thanks again, Raiden. We'll let you get back in your car. And what a beautiful car too. The wrap on that was was that your dad who had done that wrap?
Yeah, my dad and I worked on that.
Yeah, Kaya, you want to go out? You want to walk out, follow Raiden out, and take a look at the wrap on that? Let's. Yeah. All right. So
I've been told our stand-up routine's getting kind of stale. So
okay, here we go. Let's go.
Man,
all right, Raiden,
hurts. Who told you that?
Here, let's turn these on.
Oh, thanks, Mikey.
He's showing me the way to heaven right now.
Oh,
guys,
okay, yeah.
Will you turn these on for Raiden? He's going to walk out and show us the beautiful.
I just have this image living rent-free in my head of Raiden being like, you know, that Chevy commercial where they disguised up Jeff Gordon and had him go do test drives with the car salesman?
Yes.
That's what I imagined his road test probably went like.
Yeah, for sure.
The Pepsi Max commercial, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Where he just does donuts in the parking lot with the used car salesman? With the, what was it, the
Raiden,
Corvette?
where are you parked right now? You're out at the end there. Okay.
He's parallel parked.
Yeah. All right, you guys, we got a special treat. Pre-race tour out here of Raiden's SR10. And hopefully we don't lose our signal. So as we go out, tell us, I'm going to pass the mic to you. Tell us a little bit about this SR10 in terms of horsepower and things like that. You mentioned 1,000 pounds lighter. Here you go.
Yeah, so it's got a 2.3-liter 40 EcoBoost V6. And so obviously it's turbocharged. It makes about 425 horsepower and all the torque in the world. It weighs about 1,600 pounds dry weight, 1,800 with driver and fuel. So it's just an absolute rocket ship of a car.
Wow, hearing you, spout out these figures. Do you do every bit as well in school in terms of memorizing things? Seems like you got yourself a photographic memory, or else just years of experience.
It really has to do about what I'm interested in. So school's a little bit more boring than racing.
For sure. All right, walk us around. I'm going to pass the mic to you and talk us through this.
Yeah, so it's got pretty small wheels for what it is. Actually, it's got it's got 200 millimeter front tires, 260s rear, full fiberglass body. It's got bits and pieces of carbon fiber like the brake ducts, the wing, some of the canards, louvers, mirrors. The dash is full carbon. We've got an amazing AIM steering wheel. I can take passengers out in it. We've got the Halo that came out with this version, and so yeah, a lot of bits and features.
So you could, I didn't get up close enough before to see that you can actually take a passenger in this car. So we're going to swing around here and take a look inside, and you could talk to us a little bit about the electronics inside the cockpit here.
Yeah, so obviously we have the master switch on the end right next to the brake bias knob, and then we have our beautiful AIM steering wheel. Don't mind the talk button. We haven't mapped the actual talk button yet. So we've got the pit speed limiter, we've got page buttons, menu buttons, we've got our neutral button. This is the headlight flasher, and then we've got 3 dials, one for the power setting, mainly the boost, throttle positioning, so I can change whether I want it linear, exponential, etc., and then one for the power steering, which is optional, and this car does not have it. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and yeah, super straightforward, pretty simple, amazing steering wheel.
All right, well, listen, I can't thank you enough for the tour. It looks like the drivers are suiting up, so we're going to be watching you, and looking forward to an exciting race from you. Thanks so much for everything. Guys, we're going to send it back in the booth, and looks like we're going to be getting started up here in about less than 10 minutes. Thanks again, Raiden.
So we have a nice little view of kart track back here. It looks like we're getting ready for a Le Mans-style start, and, this is going to be interesting to see. This has only happened a couple times out at AMP, this style of starting endurance races. I don't believe that we have actually done that in our series quite as of yet. But look at look at that shot. It's just beautiful. Looking forward to seeing how this endurance race goes. It looks like everybody's getting ready. I wonder if they're going to do a full-on sprint to the start, or if they're going to just kind of walk it out. But as it looks right now, it looks like everybody's getting ready, gridded up, getting ready for that. As we're about to do the same over here at the main track.
Yeah, here we go. We're headed down. We've got there's Chris, looks like. We got Dave Mason, Greg Folger, as they get ready to grid up.
We're still showing the Le Mans style start here. Hopefully they can get that underway before we get started, because that's going to look awesome, Will. I can't wait to see a Le Mans style start on kart track with this track buyout.
Yeah, hopefully Travis is watching the stream upstairs and will just slightly delay the start of our race if it doesn't queue up with this, because
I'm going to see if I can get you guys.
This is the race start you want to watch right here. They're going to run across the track and hop in those carts. Something I wish we would do here would be
that's
so
what
much
I was
fun.
asking Mikey, and he wasn't sure if we had done that before with our endurance races.
I don't even know how you would do that in one of these radicals. Because they got to get strapped in, the 5-point, the harness and all that.
I'm willing to watch it. Do we start that at the start-finish line, or do we?
I wonder, everybody's getting.
Raiden, if you can hear us, you're probably already in your car getting ready. We need to time that to see how long that would take for research purposes. And
that would be unfair if we did that. And imagine all the guys here. They're
the
in
older
40s
guys,
and 50s. You
bones
got a 16-year-old
crackling,
ready to just
full on sprint ready to go.
Yeah.
Kai, I'm going to have you put on your ear protection because we're going to be out here when these guys go roaring out, because this Steven and Will, you guys were talking about your favorite sound. I mean, you guys are doing this a long time, and we are right here up front. And I'm just going to see if you guys can get a firsthand.
I'm an addict, if you want me to be completely
for sure.
honest.
And that is one thing about the EV. I mean, it does have, it's called propulsion sound that you have to turn on, because otherwise it is nothing, and that is somewhat disappointing.
That's a tear in my eye.
It's also somewhat dangerous, too. If you're in a parking lot and you can't even hear somebody rolling up behind you, you can actually step out and
traffic.
Oh, Prius.
It does have a backup alarm, so when you go into reverse, it does have a beep. But, yeah, you're right. Going forward, nobody can hear you.
That just doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Have a American muscle car with, EV. I'll leave my opinion to myself on that one, but we're still watching these guys get ready. They're getting pumped.
Regardless of your opinion, it's coming at some point.
Yeah. Now, one thing I do want to see though is a full EV series at A&P. I want to see Teslas banging doors, coming down the front stretch, quietly.
And the nice thing with the shift to EV is,
can we hear you?
Oh, who are we talking to, Chris?
Oh, I was just listening. I was listening out for the roar of the engine. I'm sorry, I did not mean to step on you guys. Something I've missed for a while now.
He can't hear it.
Well,
that's what it is.
One of the benefits, and real quick, 5 minutes to grid, all drivers, 5 minutes to grid release. One of the benefits of the EVs is the noise, because here at Atlanta Motorsports Park we have a noise ordinance, so it has to be 98 decibels at 50 feet, and EVs are real good at staying under that noise limit.
Well, speaking of noise limits, if we're going to have an EV race, I'm going to need, if you're watching, sir, the gentleman that was standing trackside at, what was it, Bahrain, or was it Monaco? During the Formula E races.
Well, if you ever have one of those races, that might be me. I'm going to walk out there.
Is that's officially voiceover?
Yes.
You will be a voiceover star.
You'll never know. You'll never know.
These are just beautiful cars
out here. I
out here.
refer to myself as voice.
Here comes
talent,
Raiden.
But I'm mostly just a voice.
There goes Raiden Nickel, that beautiful wrap on that SR10.
I feel like we're kind of hosting a car show at the moment. We're getting all this information.
I see track officials running back here at Kart Track, so they might be getting ready to go.
All right, can I do the boogity boogie boogie green part? Because I've always wanted to do that.
As long as Daryl Waltrip's not watching.
Oh yeah, that's copyrighted. Maybe I need to do something else.
Stephen Will, who do we got in the 90 SR1?
The 90 SR1 would be our friend. Hold on just 1 second while we pull this up.
There goes Greg Folger. David Mason, of course.
That would be William Layton.
William Layton right here in the 90 getting ready to go out. Here comes
and this is his third season racing with us, William Layton.
98, our good friend. Is that
98 is Jose Alvarez.
Yeah, Jose. Yeah.
Not the same Jose from Arzu Garcia,
right.
Which I would love to see Jose Garcia in a radical race car.
Yes.
He's driven everything here. Might as well throw him in one of these.
He banged up both his Miatas last month, so that's why he's not out here this month. And, yeah, I'd love to see him out in a SR1. He does a lot of two-stroke racing back at the kart track.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know he can handle it, and he can handle the G-forces.
He's been back there, man, ever since I've been back here.
Yeah, he's been running for a while.
We're pushing almost the entire time the track has been here. Wow, that's crazy to think.
Yeah, we are watching as these drivers are about to do the Le Mans style sprint here. This is going to be exciting because last year we weren't live while they were here because we didn't have a race up front while they were doing the start. But since we got the full crew out and since we're on a little bit of a delay, it kind of worked out.
What's boogity 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 in French, Will?
I'm trying to think of what's the generic way to say it without copywriting.
Green, 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 green in French. I don't know what that is.
You've already said it like 3 times, so I'm sure.
I've been flagged. I'm getting canceled, guys.
Lay boogity.
Lay boogity, lay boogity.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. There goes Blakely Fabiani in the 85 car. They're pulling up rear of the grid.
We got a driver dancing down there in the corner. This is what this is all about, guys. Just having fun, you know. Getting out on the kart track is just an experience for our viewers at home. You definitely need to come out and do some karting. It's actually not that bad.
Yeah, we're not going to cover the start of the Downforce race until this starts because this is I want to see this. This is going to be awesome. You know, maybe we do a third pace lap if they release the grid because we this is where else are you going to see a Le Mans start in Georgia? I mean, come on.
I mean, maybe Road Atlanta, but this track's way better.
It is so wild to watch these guys because I was watching the clip from last year and this is fun to watch. It looks like they're all making sure those carts are cranked up.
We are going to head up to the Sky Bridge and give you that perspective. It's beautiful. I've got our camera coming right behind.
And I think they're trying to get those things nice and evenly spaced on the edge of the grass.
You know, Will, down here we actually have a somewhat of a live studio audience set up that we know.
Yeah, we've accumulated a
couple chairs.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to say the peanut gallery, but there's not too much in here.
No, there's not many people.
Mikey's producers threatening to come over here and set us straight. So,
Mikey, let's party. I'm ready for it. I need you on the call for this Le Mans start to say "Les Boogity" in the most stereotypical French accent you could think of.
Here we are, guys. View from the Sky Bridge. Got Kaya running our camera, and you can see the grid down there. Going to have that exciting start. Is this the first of its kind here at AMP?
The Le Mans style start at the kart track, I believe. I don't think we've ever got it on camera.
We've never. I mean, they have filmed it. We have never been live for a Le Mans style start. But these guys every year when they come in, that's kind of one of the hallmarks of their series. Is they do that Le Mans style start at the beginning of the endurance race, and I have been pushing for a while that we should start doing this because it's a lot of fun. But the main thing is insurance. These guys are, it's a track buyout when they come, so they're on their insurance. So, if something happens, it's on them, not on us. But, it doesn't stop me from asking every year. And we've got that picture-in-picture display right now, so you can see the radicals getting lined up on grid down there. And it looks like they're almost getting ready down here. They were supposed to start at 12:30, so they must have gotten a little behind back there. But
got about 4 minutes for.
Yeah, you can see those drivers getting eager, and I imagine it's not too cool standing out there trackside in those driver suits.
Oh gosh,
and helmets on, especially not with this spring sun up. High's been in the 80s all week.
You got the race suit on, you got a helmet on, you got neck brace on, gloves, race shoes. Usually you're wearing something underneath that, unless you just go full Tim Richmond and
anticipation is killing me right now. Although that one guy looked like he had a slight limp, so I'm not sure if that was the driver I want to be putting.
Yeah, I don't know.
The starting driver on my team.
He's sitting there thinking of how he's going to tackle this.
Here we go. Reluctantly crouched at the starting line.
I'm
sorry, let me get us off here. I got to stop it with the copyright.
That's a running theme for their music. Cake, of course.
Yeah, everybody will cheer the distance. When you're at a concert, and then they won't play it. If you chant it, they won't do it.
Hey, they'll do Freebird. I know that for a fact.
Well, I'm seeing from up here from this vantage point, Raiden Nickel out there out front. I think the last lap that we saw before the end of the first race was 118.
Oh, cart's going away right there.
247. Yeah, we got to run away. Yeah, no, these things are all running. So if the clutches, they're just barely on the edge of not being engaged. But yeah,
Man, I can't wait any longer. I need this to happen before we go green.
although my truck did that the other day trying to set up autocross. I hopped out and the thing was still in gear.
Oh,
Started ghost riding the whip down the back
that Toyota feature, the ghost of Dale has possessed your car.
Oh, Dale would roll over in his grave if he drove a Toyota.
All right, looks like we got we're getting close here, fellas.
I love how we totally go off grid and Chris just lassos us back and reels us back in.
I know my job.
Ours is to have fun.
And I'm I am the epitome, the antithesis of fun.
And it looks like they're getting everybody off the track over there. Corner.
Here comes the
workers.
pace car going out.
And our race is about to get underway. So these guys have got 2 pace laps to get this thing started.
All right.
But
They're getting ready.
Yeah, it looks
they're
like
stretching.
they're
ready. Let's see. And we got
we got another runner. Somebody's getting an illegal advantage right there.
I mean, unless it's the guy that's limping a little bit. Maybe that's his. Just a slight advantage. They're just going to sit there and hold that car. That's probably the best idea.
All right, we need to go radio pace car, tell them to take it down to 10 miles an hour so we can get this race started in here.
All right. Let's see.
Too bad they can't hear us on the speakers back there at Kart Track.
I know they would be laughing at us. Everything that we've been talking about. You got one guy with
probably
a
just like, we
big
know, we're
advantage.
trying to get it going. Shut up. You're not helping.
Well, as our car is coming around the carousel and into turn 6, it looks like we might be getting a green flag for the Sendero back here.
Yeah, they are almost ready to go. Let's see. This is going to be an exciting opening lap here for this Enduro. Daryl Cannon, Killboy.com with the drone shot. And let's see.
All right, we ready? I think we're ready.
Last and final checks, making sure all those carts are good to go.
We are entering turn 12, right? Yeah, 12.
Yeah, so we still got another pace lap to go on our race. So, yep,
All
looks
right.
like drivers all giving
All
the
right,
thumbs
let's
up.
go. There we go.
Let's go. Green, 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 green.
They're off. Let's see who gets
go,
the
go. Got it.
the honey hole.
Stuck in the grass. Get it. 4 wide. Here we go. Look at that.
3 wide coming into turn 1.
Here we are.
This is going to be interesting entering turn 2. Let's see.
race.
Let's see what happens here. We got carts going
look at that.
3,
4.
4, maybe 5
man.
wide entering turn 2.
Here we are. This is the most exciting part, the bottom of the hill. Let's see.
Oh,
off-road.
we got a pass in the grass.
We got some hand gestures. And there's still 3 wide heading through turns 3 and 4. Look at that.
Man, I'm seeing some black flag penalty.
Still
Please
4
tell me
wide.
they're going to
Come
go
on.
4 wide to the kick.
Do it. Let's
Do
go.
it. Ah.
Oh, man, that was fun. All right, now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Me and Will like to have fun up here in the booth.
Here comes the pace car. We're up on the Sky Bridge. Raiden Nickel right behind the pace car, followed by the field of the SR1s and 3s. Here we go. Kai on the camera there gets a great view from the finish line.
That is definitely Raiden Nickel leading the pack right now. He was off to a big lead when that lap 8 incident happened in race 1, which pretty much put an end to race number 1. So we only got about half of what we paid for race number 1. So hopefully we can go the distance, maybe get some overtime here in race number 2. As right now they have taken their first pace lap. So this will be the second and final pace lap. These cars coming up the temperature. Kind of had a little bit of an extended break while we were recovering all those cars from that lap 8 incident in race 1, and they sat on pit road for about a 45-minute break. So definitely need to get some heat back into these cars before we get underway. And it looks like we've had a little bit of attrition. We have got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars. So we lost 4 cars during that lap 8 incident. So cutting down the field a little bit, but it's still going to be exciting nonetheless. Raiden Nickel will be out there chasing another lap record, so that's going to be fun to see if he can grab that. And also, we're going to have a lot of action for the SR3s. So it's going to be a real fun race to watch. Keep an eye on Chris Hune, David Mason, and Greg and Pete Folger. They are your SR3 drivers. Pete, obviously, with the advantage with the 1500cc, but he's going to be starting further in the back unless they are going to start him up to the front. Actually, I don't even see him on the sheet.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pete is out of this race. Pete Folger, Evan Lowry, Callahan Warlick, and Jack Rambo will not be taking part in this race.
And that's going to be a shame. He's got to use his drop races this early in the season.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Callahan, unfortunately, had rear wing damage, too severe for us to fix that quick enough. And Evan had quite a bit of damage from one spinning and hitting Jack, and
that's
Pete
not good.
in,
that's
so.
not good for Evan because he's your current leader in
Right.
SR1. He's your
Yep.
favorite to win this season.
Yep.
And so he's going to be using his drop dates as well
Right.
today.
Yep.
And it looks like Rachel Heiler, pace car driver, is pulling off track after completing 2 successful pace laps. And
that start's
Nickel,
looking beautiful.
As Raiden Nickel will lead your field through turn 16. Let's wait and see if they get the green. And there they go. You can see those green lights on that beautiful F1 starting light as Raiden Nickel hard charges down into turn 1, leads that pack of 10 radicals. And they all go
4
down.
wide.
Look at that. 3 wide through turn 1, and everybody keeps it clean, and we are underway with this race.
And Raiden's just taken off.
And look at that, already putting a football field between him and second place right now. Greg Folger is leading up. That mid-pack already starting to form right now. Just behind him, you've got David Mason and Chris Hune in SR3s. Blakely Fabiani is your leader right now. He is 5th overall, first in the SR1 division. He's probably got the most seat time out here out of any of these drivers. Although
And that
not
was
as
a
much.
close one.
William Layton diving. Look at that, 2-for-1 special.
Slide job.
And he is able to grab 2 spots from Jose Alvarez and William Robinson, putting him up into the 6th position now.
Guys, I see this field staying pretty tight for the rest of the race. Obviously, Raiden Nickel is going to walk away from this field having, 420 horsepower. That SR10 is just substantially faster, but with the SR3s all having the 1340cc motors, that's the same engine as the SR1s. So it's going to be pretty tight for these field. I don't see the SR3s really getting too far ahead.
And just off the top of your screen, that was David Mason going by. He has fallen back to 4th position. Should be Greg Folger and Chris Hune coming past the line right now to tick off lap number 2 in this race. Yeah, so that is Greg Folger, Chris Hune. They are hot on each other's bumper. David Mason in that red liveried SR3 right there. So those first 3 cars right there, that is your 1, 2, 3 for the SR3 division. And then just behind that car with the red livery is going to be Blakely Fabiani in the SR1 Radical.
Now, something you can't see from the camera, per se, is the elevation change of this track. I mean, we're looking at, in total, I believe it's,
over 90 feet.
It's an amazing amount of elevation change. Turn 1 is really a spectacle to see trackside.
There's a 20-foot drop, and it's a beyond 90-degree turn, so it is real punishing on those outside front tires.
Right now, everybody's just getting in a nice rhythm. After the chaos in race 1, I think everybody's just trying to lock in, see where they're at, and see what they can do. I think the big mover of this race so far is William Layton. He had a really pretty bad start, but he's made up a couple spots already, and now he is putting the pressure on Jose.
Oh, we got some contact. Oh, what a save!
Saved it. That was Leighton as we're talking about it.
Great save.
Man, it's that announcer's curse.
Yeah, I know, but I know that's Leighton because that's that orange helmet. That's about the only detail we can see from this vantage point.
What a save.
He had a nose in. He was going for that pass.
I think it looked like he had a really good move into 13. He thought Jose was going to go a little wide, and he wasn't expecting that, so.
Will, do we have the crank it up
we need
mic
to
out
get
there?
some crank it up graphics. Yeah, I haven't done that.
I need to send that all to you. That's my bad. I've been slacking on my job a little bit. I'm sorry, Will.
And right now we are watching your field as they make their way through the carousel. Just like you said, Tyler, they are staying pretty close together.
Yeah, with the SR3s having the 1340cc, it's 20 horsepower difference from the SR1. But the thing is, the SR3 does have a little bit more weight, and also it has more drag. So with that being said, with this being such a tight and technical track, a good driver in an SR1 can keep an SR3 in tow. And we see that right now with, you know, it looks like Will Layton did get by Jose Alvarez, so he moves up to P1 in the SR1 class now.
Looked like we might have got a slight glimpse of Raiden Nickel as they were passing into turn 12. Coming out of frame there, that just tells you the gap that Raiden has on the rest of the field. He is moving. He's already completed his 4th lap as the other drivers are just now entering turn 15.
Yeah, the top speed down the straightaway, Raiden, I would imagine, is probably looking at around 140 miles an hour, maybe a bit more. And these SR3s and SR1s are going to be pushing right around 125. So,
yeah, Raiden's already entering turn 6 as these other drivers are entering turn 2 and 3.
Right.
He's moving.
It shows you the difference in the SR10, which is the flagship model of Radical, and just how much faster that car really is.
Now, you can own one of these, correct?
You can, yes. So we are a dealer. We are essentially the Southeast dealer, Primal Racing. So if you have interest in looking into an SR1, an SR3, an SR10, they have a couple other models, but those are the most popular. We can help spec one out, and we also have a couple of used cars for sale every now and again.
And right now we are watching the closest battle on track right now. That is William Robinson trying to fend off William Layton, who is hard charging through the field right now.
A battle of the wheels.
Your leaders are pretty much checked out a little bit. Raiden Nickel is already off to a 4-second lead over second place Greg Folger. Now, these guys are both in separate races. So Raiden's in the unlimited class, Greg Folger in the SR3 class. So they are both leading. And then behind Greg Folger, another almost 2 seconds is Chris Hune. So that battle is kind of fizzling out right now, which leaves us the closest action on track is between third place in the SR1, David Mason, 4th overall, and he is fending off William Robinson and Will Layton. And Robinson-Layton currently in the fight for first place for the SR1 division.
Well, now, something that's looking a little interesting is
and Fabiani falling back.
Well, it looks like Fabiani is leading in SR1s. There he goes. Fabiani's coming out of turn 1, and then in tow is William Robinson and William Layton. So I'm not sure why the timing chart is showing that, but Blakely Fabiani looks like he is leading in SR1.
Well, I'm going to have to take your word for it because all those cars look the same to me, other than William Layton's with the
bright orange helmet. There he goes right there, right past the water tank.
Yep, Blakely's car is going in 6th right now. He's got all that blue on the side of his car. That's actually the last year's championship-winning car. That was driven by Pete Folger, and when Pete upgraded to his SR3, Blakely has purchased that car. So Blakely's run was us in the Downforce class now.
And we're getting a studio audience back here now, guys. I'm liking this.
Yeah, we've got Kart Track General Manager Lucas Arnett in here, freshly promoted Operations Manager Eli Bearden over here as well. Y'all just coming from the race start back there? Yeah, we were covering it live, so that was fun to watch.
These SR1s are just tucked right in behind each other. And one thing that can actually happen with aero cars is you can get what we call aero wake. So if you're sucked right up behind somebody coming through like turn 16, right where you see those cars, if you get a little bit on each side of them or you're drafted up right behind them, you can actually lose the aerodynamics on your front end with not having any of that air pushing down on the front end of the car. And you can have a lot of understeer and then quite a bit of oversteer.
Now, is that strategy that the lead driver can play into?
No, because the cars are going to be full throttle through 15, 16. You don't want to lift or have any kind of sudden moment going in through that corner because you don't want to upset the chassis in any way. But it looks like these guys are getting close up to Blakely. He had a little bit wide angle going through turn 4, and we'll see if
there is only 0.3 of a second separating these three cars last time past the stripe, and don't forget him, Jose Alvarez right there in the back of the pack. We've got a 4-car battle right now, and this is the SR1 race. So 1st through 4th place right now in that pack. Blakely Fabiani leading the field through turn 11, going up the hill. This is the most elevation change you're going to get on track. Hard to see on camera, but over 90 feet of it as they go chugging up Smokers Hill there at turn 12. And dipping back down through 13 into that big double apex long sweeper turn 14 as they will make their way back around and into our vantage point where we can see them coming down the front straightaway.
Carrying about 115, 120 miles an hour right through this corner here. Getting up to a top speed about 130 miles an hour at start-finish line.
And there they go. Ooh,
got a little
whoa, it
shaky
down.
there.
Yeah. That looked like that wasn't Leighton.
Oh, he's got a mechanical
Oh,
issue going
no.
on. Who is that? Number 98. That would be.
That is Jose Alvarez. Oh, no, looks like he's going to be pulling that one off to the side of the track. Yep, get that thing as far off as you can.
Looks like he might have just stalled it out. Maybe that was the reason he had that little shaky moment right there.
Yeah, that could have been.
Good job keeping the car straight and, making sure nobody got caught up with that.
And just like that, our 4-car battle is now down to 3 cars for SR1 right now. And William Leighton is now hot on the tail of Blakely Fabiani. I don't think Blakely – either he must have been dinged because it says he's on the same lap. So I don't know why it's scoring him back there, but they're going to have to readjust that. And these guys keeping it pretty close together. To be honest, I'm surprised they're not trading blows as much. I think they're going to be content to just get the timeout on this one. What do you think? Maybe 5 minutes to go, let's start jockeying Tyler? What do you think?
Well, I'm concerned about Jose and where he's sitting right now because he's not in a place where they can keep this thing green, I don't think. I think they're going to have to get him off.
You think it's going to –
they're going to have to get him to a safe spot.
Yeah, they got the double yellow out. So that should be pace car.
Seems like everybody's slowing down a little bit.
If that happened a bit sooner, he probably could have pulled off the access road, but where it happened, he was just trying to get up that hill.
He's right there.
Yeah, they're holding the standing.
That's not necessarily in the lane, in the driver lane, is it?
But you're full throttle there, and you just
yeah, they're waiting to scoop up the leader because pace car is about to head out on track.
They'll be able to flat tow him back into pits pretty quickly. Strap up to him.
Now, in this situation, Tyler, is it race it back to the line, or is the field frozen right now?
The field would be frozen right now. But they're all going to fall back in line, and where you're at is where you're at.
Big Red number 2 getting a workout here today.
It's a good-looking truck.
Well, that's a nice little design you put on that thing.
Now
that I could fully see it.
I tried.
You do a good work. You do good work. Maybe I should get you to design some graphics for me.
Well, the boss came to me and said, "What should we do?" And I said, "Give me a stab at it. I'll make a fun logo."
See, that looks great.
Check it out. And the crazy thing is about doing vinyl wraps, and you wouldn't know is that little gold part is probably the most expensive part on the whole thing. Just a little 4x4 sheet of that, and then you see any tow truck or not any fire truck, all the emergency vehicles, they have that stuff. It is ungodly expensive compared to regular vinyl, but that's what gives it that cool little metal flake stuff. And I tried to see if they'd give me some scraps, but they told me no at the wrap shop.
So Tyler, when Raiden Nickel comes around there, he could give Alvarez a ride back, the 2-seater. Tell me about that. Is that so? As part of the racing school here, is that the purpose of the 2 seats, or?
It's not. So we don't have any instructor's right seat in these cars for the schools. You can option them in a 2-seat or a center seat chassis. It's really just driver preference more than anything. If you want a left-hand drive, if you want to be sat offset. Most of our drivers prefer, if they're going to be purchasing a car, they like the center seat. Gets a little bit more elbow room. You can also fit a little cool shirt system in there if you want, if you're running in summer and want to wear a cool shirt. So the center seat might give you a few more options, but again, it's all mostly just driver preference.
I think we need to give Jose some lead ballast and let him hop in with Raiden just to
weigh him down just a little bit.
Yeah, just for some competition.
You know what? Let's give him a camera while we're at it and have mid-race interviews as we're going.
Yeah. Actually, if you really want a weight penalty, I'll just hop in.
Same.
If you're brave enough.
Yeah, I don't know. With Raiden driving, might realign my spine.
Maybe I need that. Cheaper than going to a chiropractor. Just go to the racetrack.
So I was watching his laps. He was pretty consistently at a 118. Guys, what's the track record?
Oh, on this division.
It's in a 114 and change.
Yeah, I was supposed to say it's a 114.7 something, if I remember correctly.
Careful.
Oh, he's got that wheel.
No, stop. He's got to drag his foot on the brake.
Reminds me of water skiing, right? The rope goes back in the.
Now, is this something y'all do teach in the school? How to
be properly towed?
We go through a class on it, but when we actually have to teach and train it, that's where the student has to understand when they're coming down a hill like that, they've got to drag their foot on the brake. They've got to keep that
slack.
rope taut.
Yeah, or keep the
And
slack
a lot
out.
a lot of students, they struggle because they hear that and they hear they hear the brakes grinding and they're worried. But I'm like, when the motor's running, you don't hear the brakes.
Yeah.
And so you're fine braking 130 miles an hour and braking really hard. But when you don't have that motor running and you're hearing all the other noises you're not used to hearing, it can worry you.
Yeah, race cars at low speeds make a lot of weird noises.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was driving the Batmobile that we had a couple years ago, the KTM, the GT4 car. We were down at Road Atlanta showing that off at Petit Le Mans, and we had to drive it from the booth back to the garage. And even at low speeds, it just sounds, the straight cut gears and the in the brake pads just grinding real hard. It just sounds like you're doing damage to it. But these cars, they like to go fast.
Yes, and this is.
Now there's a nice perspective from the rear of the SR10. Tell me, Tyler, about the dimensions as these cars step up. You said SR1, SR3. Are those two precisely the same dimensions?
The SR1's the smallest, and the SR3 goes up slightly in size, wheelbase, in length, and width, and the SR10 is similar to the SR3. And
for those watching at home, how do those compare to your typical consumer automobile? There, what do we? You set these side by side. I can see from that vantage point that BMW and that SR10, they're pretty similar in size. Yeah.
In length, they can be pretty close, but with the length and everything, but with the width, they're going to be much more narrow, and the SR1s are going to be significantly smaller than your average production car.
Gotcha.
And I would expect if they can get this flat toe done, one more pace lap.
I would hope so. I
hope so because we're at 16 minutes right now, so
exactly.
that's.
Are we going to have a couple lap shootout?
Even one more pace lap, we're going to be green, white, checker. Which maybe I jinxed it by saying I wanted overtime at the start of this race. And that's unfortunately the only way you get overtime is, with a late caution that pushes us past 20 minutes. But from an exciting stand, now you're probably on the opposite end of the spectrum because you don't want to see as many race starts with all your rental cars going side by side into turn 2 or turn 1. But from us up here in the booth, I love to watch the race starts. It's always exciting. It's always one of those great highlights. Some of that 3-wide action down into the pit there.
How we got the sand pit shot from last season. That was a very nerve-wracking moment.
Well, we've already got the pace car spinning this season, so I don't know if we're going to get another highlight that tops that one. But, we've still got – this is only race 2 of a 7-race series that we have going on. We also have 2 more events coming up after the season. So we're running monthly up until July. We take July off, and then August, September, October, and that's what's going to finish out our 7-race season. And this is the AMP Championship Series. So this is the big dogs on track right now. This is for all the bragging rights and for all the members racing. Another competition that we have that we added this year that we haven't really talked much about is the King and Queen competition. So we're having a King of Amp, Queen of Amp competition, and basically any member that competes in a race series event at AMP, whether it is an endurance race we're putting on, a kart race, a main track race, autocross tomorrow, basically any competition that AMP puts on and hosts. If you are a member here and you sign up and you compete in that event, you are going to gain points for the King and Queen competition. You can also earn points by showing up to social events, by just coming out for regular track days. So if you show up and you come out and drive, you'll get points towards that. And it's really kind of a way to recognize the members that support us the most, that come out here, that compete, that are always here, always participating. And we want to recognize them, and so that's why we've got the King and Queen competition going on. And the winner is going to get their own personal parking spot out front of the building. They're going to get their name on it, so everybody's going to know.
I'm calling it now. Alyssa Vasquez is going to win the Queen competition.
Yeah, she's
here every weekend.
If she was a member, yes.
Oh, that's right. She's not. I forget about that.
There's a couple karting members back there that I've got my eye on that I think might be the front runners. But another way to get your own personal parking spot as well is by winning the race series. So
that's true.
SR1, SR3, Unlimited, and the Spec Miata, they all have their name out there. So you'll see Blakely Fabiani, Pete Folger, Jack Rambo. They're all on the sign out there. Chris Hune.
And then there's Will's Way.
And then there's Will's parking spot. He's got the big blue guy sitting in a chair. Kind of looks like me right now.
No, it's a guy grilling. That's what it is, right?
That's right.
You
were confused because it looked like you with the blue
shirt. I thought it was my spot. Yeah,
there you go.
Handy capable is what I like to call myself.
Is that why they put us in the broadcast booth? Will?
Yes. That's the
whole reason.
You want to know how you find an announcer? You go find a special ed class and the most articulate one in there. Give him a mic.
Well, there goes the pace car right off the track. And it looks like we are getting underway.
And as we are about to get back, thank you for getting us back on track, Chris.
Yeah, the important things. Looks like Raiden's going to be.
And keep an eye on that start-finish line. It will go green.
Man, we're going to have 3 wide coming into turn 1 all over again.
And this will be a green-white checker. Green flag is in the air. Look at this, some side-by-side action. And I can't see who that is. I know that's David Mason.
That was Chris Hune who made the pass.
Oh, look at that, Chris Hune getting around David Mason.
Looks like we're going to try to go. Nope, they lined it right back up coming into 4.
And if he's not careful, he has got to catch up to Greg Folger. Greg was running away from him during the opening parts of this race. So this restart, probably Chris Hune is the best recipient of this. But if he's not careful, Greg Folger is going to get back away from him. So this is his chance to stay with him and potentially vie for that first place.
The SR1s are all tucked right in behind each other. We have Greg Folger leading the charge in the SR3s. Chris has made that position on David, so we'll see if Chris can get up and give Greg any kind of pressure.
And maybe during the opening laps he just got caught in traffic too hard, and that's how Greg was able to get such a lead on him.
Yeah.
Now that he's got clean track in front of him, I expect to see him reel him in, but it's only going to be 1 lap to go this time by, so time is going to be running out. So expect to see some moves in this last lap.
These guys have definitely gotten some good race start practice.
And right now you can also see that battle for first place in the SR1 division. I believe Leighton has not got around. Yep, Fabiani's still leading Leighton, but look at that. They're hot on each other's tails.
Side by side coming into 2 more than likely. Not sure. Was that the white flag that was displayed?
It looked like they took the white flag. It still says green on my well, there's not a white flag on the scoring screen, but yep, he's picking up the checkered flag. So this is the last lap as your leaders making their way through the S's here, turns 2, 3, up through the carousel. Look at this, Leighton to the inside.
That was a pass in the grass. It looked like two off right there.
Went for it and made it work, man. Fabiani is not going to be happy with himself. But let's see, he still has half a lap to get it back. And look at Leighton shooting off there. He just took that inside line and ran with it.
I wonder how he managed to keep it straight through there, because putting one of these cars off in the grass is going to make it a little bit slippery trying to get back on the track.
I think Fabiani might be struggling on his tires, and if you go up into turn 4 and just your tires are a bit old, I have a feeling that car might have just been
They're closing.
He's sucking it up in a little bit, but he's only going to have 2 more turns to make the pass, and there goes Leighton pulling out. I don't know. I don't think he's going to have the runway to be able to do it. And if he's not careful, just behind him, William Robinson's getting thirsty. He's like, hey, I like the thought of second place. Let's see. 2 final turns. They make their way through 16 into 15, through 14 into 15 and 16. Greg Folger, David Mason take the checkered flag. William Leighton gets by, and that looked like Chris Hune fell back. I don't know. Did you see what happened there?
I did not see what happened. I just noticed he was running, 3rd or 2nd overall?
David Mason, well, they scored it as him getting around. I did not see on camera. Obviously, we were following.
There's Raiden coming out, and let's see if we can see where.
It'll be at the bottom of your screen. Let's see.
So there's Greg. That looks like Chris right there, and then David. So.
I wonder what happened there. We just missed that.
Yeah, maybe it's probably some timing and scoring.
Yeah, I think that's all it is.
But another great aerial shot of the track. I love this time of year. Everything's turning green. Everything's looking nice and pretty on camera.
Well, I'm glad you can see it, because I sure can't.
Well, pretty wild events. A little bit more eventful than it normally is.
Yeah, that for only having 2 races today, they definitely.
And that race report's going to be fun to write in a few minutes.
Definitely packed 4 races worth of excitement. But as we follow the winners around, they should be taking their way off track this time by. If you liked what you saw today, as we're waiting for the winners to come, Chris is going to head out there. We're going to get a word with them here momentarily. But if you liked what you saw here today, we have got more racing coming up next month. this is going to do it for us here at AMP for the month of April, but we've got some exciting action coming up on tap. I know in 2 weeks, Cinco de Mayo weekend, the 4th and the 5th, we got that big doubleheader kart track race weekend. And then followed up on May 11th, we've got our next round of main track race day. So that's going to be round 3 in the series that you're watching currently. And then following that, immediately after round 3, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we've got the big Prodigy Week event coming up here. And I know you're involved with that a little bit too.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're coming in basically commandeering the race school for 3 days.
Oh, yeah. We have 2 really big events coming up, and I'm really excited. So next weekend, as you've already mentioned, we're going to Radical Cup. North
Oh, yeah,
America.
and you guys are
We're going to Barber Motorsports Park, and it's going to be David Mason, Chris Hune, Greg Folger, and Raiden Nickel, and we're all going to be competing in the Pro 1500 class.
Oh,
so
nice.
if you want to come out, get some tickets to Barber Motorsports Park and come support some AMP members.
Yeah, make sure you get some AMP swag and shoot your heads off out
there. Yeah, so we're really excited. The guys are getting the final touches on all of those cars that we're going to be using next week. Patrick's been going through and getting them set up, so –
Isn't that also IndyCar weekend out
there?
there?
That is IndyCar weekend.
That's what I was thinking. That's going to be a big crowd out there.
We're racing Friday, Saturday, and I'm really excited for our AMP members that are going out and competing. And then we got Prodigy. So 2 really big events for us coming up, and busy time of year.
Guys, I've got Jose Alvarez down here who we were just talking about. He said there win a podium. So let's talk about it a little bit. Driving the 98 car today. What happened down there? You said something with the gears.
So I attacked turn 2. I'm in second gear braking, everything fine. I go back to power, car start accelerating. When I went for third gear, all I heard was wing, and the car just in neutral. It wouldn't accelerate. So I stopped. I put the car back in neutral, and then I gave first gear again, but I got nothing. It just revving, wing, wing, and frustrated because that was podium for me, man.
Yeah, you guys were running just in a tight pack there. They were talking about it, and we saw as you headed down toward turn 1, the car just sort of jigged for just a second, and then so podium.
Oh man, I'm a little frustrated. I mean, the jerkiness into turn 1, that's kind of a normal thing on the SR1s. It's not a big deal, but I felt power, I felt acceleration until I gave the car the third gear, and I just lost gear. I mean, it's just neutral. The car will rev, but it wouldn't go anywhere. So I think it's the clutch, but hey, we'll let them. We'll know eventually.
Yeah, well, it's great to interview you. It's great, even funner to watch you, and we're going to see you out here next time. Sorry about the podium, but there are more races to come.
There is definitely they are. And thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right, Jose Alvarez. We're going to get some interviews with our –
Man, they had to do him dirty on that graphic there. It said DF or Downforce, and they changed it to the did not finish.
Oh, no.
That one hurts.
So how did it officially shake out, guys?
So our final results are unofficial official results would be –
Raiden Nickel was your overall winner with a best lap of 118.113. He was in Downforce Unlimited. Greg Folger was your winner for SR3 Radical. His best time was a 1.22 or a minute 22.297. Just behind him, and this is what I'm seeing on the scoring screen, David Mason. I'm not sure if that was the official result or not because I believe Chris Hune finished in front of him, so I might need to get some confirmation from race control, or maybe we can get Chris to confirm who finished in front. And just go walk up and ask him.
It's our brain trust from earlier today. Gentlemen, you want to step on back over there? Mr. Folger? You, I believe that he took the checkered, is that correct?
It shows Mr. Greg Folger was finishing first overall in SR3 and second overall in the full field.
Okay, and so the championship series now underway, and you guys are vying for those top positions. So what can you tell me about today versus last month and what we can look forward to next month?
We were all in the 1340s today. We're in the 1500s today. Glad to have Chris back out here. He missed last week. He almost got me at the start twice. Luckily was able to pull on him a little bit at the backside, but a ton of fun and really looking forward to going to Barber next week with these guys.
Yeah, you mentioned all the restarts, so lots of practice on those restarts, and of course, it is exciting for us to watch you guys get 2, 3, sometimes 4 wide. Chris, talk to us about all the restarts today.
Well, it's fun. It's like chess. You don't know what's going to happen. Which way is the other guy going to go? Which way are you going to go? You make a little plan, and then it all goes to crap when you go into turn one.
I appreciate that family show, David. So last time we were out, your first win, is that right? And then talk to us about the competition, what we can look forward to the rest of the season, and of course compare today. A lot of tight racing in this second race.
Yeah, I think these 1340s are a little bit tighter matched, especially with the SR1s. We had fun. Congratulations to Greg for a double win today. He earned it. Had the fastest car, fastest skill today. Congratulations to Chris for second place. So we're all 3 going to Barber next week. It'll be co-opetition next week. So we're fight it out here, but we'll hopefully help each other next week. It's going to be a ton of fun. We all 3 can't wait. It's going to be fun this year.
Well, thank you guys. Always with great racing, great interviews. We'll see you on the podium. All right, congratulations. I'm going to send it back inside. Guys, great job in the booth today. Way to go.
Oh, well, thank you, Chris. You're the one doing all the work. You're the one out there sweating it, walking up and down pit road. We're just hanging out in the AC here, watching the big screen, calling it as we see it. But
it's always fun to be in the booth, especially with Will. We're an interesting duo. It makes things interesting. I think the first time we did this was at Lanier, and it was interesting to say the least.
Yes, the Lanier show was fun, but that's pretty much going to do it for us here today at Atlanta Motorsports Park. We hope you guys enjoyed tuning in at home. Unless you got any other final thoughts, Steve, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up for the day. Are you anything you want to tell the listeners?
Well, the only thing that I can think of at the moment is this race report is going to be interesting.
It's going to be a lot.
I'm going to have to go out here and do a little bit more digging, getting some more notes from all the drivers that were involved in that incident. I mean, it was pretty heavily.
Yeah, and the replay was kind of cool too.
I'm honestly probably going to need the file from that to add in the report later. But if you guys want to read the report, head on over to libertyracingreview.com, and you'll see all of the race reports from Atlanta Motorsports Park. And if you're into short track scenes, we do a lot of focusing in the Southeast and basically all of North America.
Yeah, you guys are picking up a lot of steam too.
Oh, dude,
getting a lot of tracks are picking y'all up right now.
Yeah, I mean we've got Montgomery on our schedule. We're actually partnered with Montgomery Motor Speedway. Big shout out to Stan and those guys out there. Same thing for Pensacola at Five Flags. You guys are wonderful. We love going down there and covering you. Let's see who else we got. We got Sari Speedway, which is a little track just north of Birmingham. Big shout out to those guys. They're really, really small. I mean they're running local divisions. These are just local guys out there having fun, and it's pretty cool to see motorsports growth in the U.S. right now, and we're seeing a boom in younger drivers, especially here. We've got the developmental leagues with the karting circuit, and they eventually move over to the big track. So it's looking promising for the future of motorsports in the U.S.
Well, and part of what we like doing is putting the show on. Put these guys in front of cameras, put it on the internet, let people know what's happening out here, because that's half the battle, is just letting people know it's here, it's accessible, you can come out, you can do it. And that's where I get a lot of my enjoyment. I definitely love seeing the younger guys coming up through the ranks, because you never know who's going to be the next guy you're watching on Sunday. I definitely think Raiden Nickel is going to be one of them, and there's a handful of other guys up front here and back at the car track that I think all have a chance at making it. And that's the fun, because you don't know, and you get to watch them as they develop, as they learn. And that's really what we're about here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. This is where you can come to learn. I mean, heck, you can live here, you can learn here, you can love, you can laugh here.
Yeah.
You can get it all done here, and that's what we love about this place. But I think, with those final thoughts, this is going to go ahead and do it for us here in the booth today. We'll go ahead and wrap this show up. We appreciate everybody. We appreciate you guys, trackside, all the staff, all our camera workers, race control, race director, the maintenance team, engineering, every one of our sponsors. Thank you, guys. We appreciate each and every one of you. Without y'all, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have a job. We wouldn't be covering these races. And so from all of us here on the broadcast team here at AMP, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next one. So long, everybody.